Oh, hi, welcome to another session of Wing Chun. In this video, I like to revisit the Tan. I know we're in the Sil Lim Tao, and if you want to skip ahead, you can always go to my video and skip ahead. But I assume that everybody already is familiar with the Sil Lim Tao. If you're watching this this far into the video, the thing is, I see a lot of people, learning the Sil Lim Tao a little bit too quickly, and not really understanding everything about it, and then they go through life really just scratching the surface of the form, but really not knowing and understanding every single nuance of how to really take advantage of a lot of these moves, or in Cantonese, a lot of these hands. When I say hands, I could mean the whole arm. So a lot of people, they think the Tan is this, and then I just cringe when I see people doing this, because my arm is hurting when I'm just jamming. They're just jamming this arm into someone else's arm. So that is just like a very, very bad Tan if you think that you're just jamming the arm into an oncoming punch. Okay, so I'm gonna just in this episode just revisiting the Tan and give you a little bit more detail. So this is like someone is punching at you like over here, and there could be a kind of a hook. So there is a lot of force that's coming this way to hit me here. So now you're punching, and if your opponent is somebody smaller, somebody weaker, somebody less skilled, you really don't need Wing Chun. Okay, you're just gonna just power through, punch whichever way you want. So only if the guy is bigger than you, or stronger than you, or more skilled than you, that you need to start using the Tan. So just to recap, you're fighting like this, and you're just punching, just regular punching, boxing way. Okay, and then when you encounter something that is going to be an obstacle for your hand, and both your hands just happen to cross just by accident, then you don't want to keep fighting the other guy when the guy is, let's say, stronger than you, because you're not going to get through. Especially when you're like this, his hand is on top of your hand, and you're not going to get through, you're not going to muscle through, because he's just bigger than you. So you bring your elbow inwards towards the middle, and suddenly you're going to go from his hand being on top and fighting power and muscle against muscle, to having his hand now on the side. So now if he wants to pass your hand with his hand, he has to fight your entire body, because when you have your elbow in the center, your elbow is being backed up by your core and your hip and your stance. So it's very hard for now his punch to come in, because he has to move your entire body. Now I'm describing something in a fraction of a second here. So now at this point, you want to now Tan meaning spread open, and in this case spread open this hand. So that is why in the initial strength, when I say strength right now, I mean strength from here to here. Strength meaning stiffness of here. You want it to be low, because if it's not low, you're not going to be able to do this to bring the elbow in, and you're not going to be able to Tan, because it's so stiff. If you stiffen up this like that, you're not going to be able to come around to the top. So now at this point, your strength level in this hand here is low. even though the strength, it really is hard here right at the bottom of your elbow. So as soon as you contact, normally you're going to be fighting somewhat far away, obviously, in the beginning. When you get this bridge, it's going to be contacted in the wrist area here in the front of your hand. Okay? So when you do that, you want to, start to move into the tan so that your hand has to be soft to get around and over. Okay? So now, as it's going over, your strength level starts to come up. Okay, because now you're starting to get the upper hand. So now this part starts to tan, and this part starts to get the upper hand. So not only now he has to fight you sideways, that moves your whole body, which is very difficult. Now, if you can get this part of your hand on top of his hand here, literally on top. Now he has to fight you with this one arm that is going to be pretty much supported by your entire body. Because once you manage to put this hand on top of his hand, now you have more of your body weight being on top of his arm. So his one arm is really going to be difficult for his one arm to not only push your body to the side, but then lift your entire body upwards. So that makes it really, really difficult for him, and thus giving you a lot of power, even though really you're not exerting a lot of power to yourself. Because if you're doing the technique right, you're actually using your stance and your body weight into this hand. So what are people doing wrong here is when they tan like this. They go like this, they go like this, they tan like this, and then they punch. Okay? So you're wasting a lot of time here. When you tan here, you're fighting on the bridge and you're not going nowhere. See, the castle is here. So when you're doing this tan here, you need to be moving forward. You need to be gaining distance. Not only that, but you're gaining more leverage. Because if you're here, your wrist here is weak because it's far from your elbow. So if you wasted this time fighting on the bridge only and not going to the castle, he could easily put this hand down by force because it's not close to your elbow. So when you're doing the tan, you're going from here to here. You're starting off here because you're fighting, but when you're going to tan, you're going to end up from here to twisting and being on top to here. So now if you gain from where it's very weak on your wrist to halfway up your forearm, which is close to your elbow, and now you're extremely strong because he can't fight so much close to the elbow, because closer to the elbow is where your body weight is exerting all that power down into the forearm. So that's why when you tan, you gotta be gaining distance, not just distance from the hand to the face, but from the beginning of the wrist where you touch to the beginning of his punch to here. And now it's really virtually impossible for that arm to come in and defeat this arm. Remember, this is just a millisecond from here to here that I'm describing. So even when you're a small guy, even you're like me, like 132 pounds, and this guy could be 180 pounds, this guy could be 200 pounds. When I do this, and if I do this correctly, I'm not saying I can do it correctly all the time, but if I could do it correctly, like this, there's a tremendous power in here that even a big guy going like this, it's not going to come through. This will protect me from a very strong punch with a little bit of power coming in. Not complete hook punch, that will require something else. But if it's just a good strong punch with a little bit of inward movement, it's going to protect you quite a lot, because that one punch cannot move your body weight away. So the other thing is that you need to expand the elbow and extend the elbow outwards, because if you don't and you contact this place and you just try to do this, there's not a whole lot of power like this if your elbow isn't moving out like this. Because when you're moving out like this, it requires your whole torso and your whole shoulder, and you have a lot of force here if you extend the elbow outwards. If you don't extend your elbow outwards and you're just doing this, it's only activating a few strips of muscles in the back here. So if you're only activating a few strips of muscles here by doing this, you're not going to get any power into the other person's arm. So the only way you're going to get a lot of power is if you exert your entire chest and extend the elbow from here to here outwards as you tan to get the upper hand. And that way you have a lot more power. Like if you hold your hand and you do this, you try to go like this, you realize there's not a whole lot of power I can do and to push this down. But if I were to go and expand my arm as I do it, you realize that you have way more power. I can't even hold. I have to go grab my entire arm, and even then, if I expand this way here, you realize that this hand is not going to be able to resist, but not so far as to extend so far as your shoulder going in front of your body. Then you've unlocked your shoulder, and then now you've don't have your body weight tying to your forearm. So extend the elbow, but don't unlock your shoulder. Your shoulders still have to be seated inside the socket. So there's a tremendous power here by getting the upper bridge. Now when you've gotten the upper bridge, now at this point you can now have a stiff hand. At this point in time, when you've gotten soft in this area here, soft at the contact point, a little bit more power in the hand here to do the tan. And once you've gotten the tan, and at this point you can have the stiff hand, so that you're exerting this force downwards over here, and you're going to now be ready to hit or to palm strike. What people make the mistakes, like I say, is they make the stiff hand in the beginning, and then they do that, and then that's completely wrong. This is why in the Sil Lim Tao, the first tan here, you're concentrating a lot of power in your elbow while this remains soft. So in the beginning, when this hand comes out, this remains soft, and in your mind, with your eyes closed, you're thinking all the power is in the elbow. While this is coming out, you still try to concentrate this part of the hand being soft, while at the bottom, this part of the elbow at the bottom of your forearm remains strong. So it's not that you don't make the hand stiff, it's that the stiff hand, this tan stiff hand part comes only at the end when you've completed your movement. Then you can have this stiff hand. In the beginning, you need to have this soft hand when you punch. You need to have the soft hand so that your tan can go over and gain the upper hand of the other person. So because people see that at the end and they see this stiff hand, so they begin this stiff hand thing. This stiff hand, and they make this hand all stiff, and they just jam, and they just jam, and they just jam. That's completely wrong. That's what a beginner person thinks. Jamming the hand just by force is what we do, but no, we're not jamming the hand. There is this many different moves and techniques within just one time. So I'll just demonstrate here a little bit with the dummy. So I go, like, my dummy here weighs about 150 pounds. I only weigh about 132. So when you get this done right, you're punching, and then when you're getting this right, you can see that the dummy is moving. Okay, the dummy is moving left and right, and it takes quite a lot of force to move this dummy left and right. But when I'm doing it, and if I'm doing it correctly, I don't feel myself exerting any force sideways. Then I now get to concentrate on punching. So you don't have to always tan completely in real life. In real life, you can still tan a little bit and then punch. You can tan a little bit, and then you could change your mind to do palm strike. You can tan a little bit, and at this point, you could decide whether or not you're gonna palm strike or you can punch with a punch. So you can also just do the punch if you want to. And because I'm moving this dummy several inches left and right, weighing 150 pounds, I'm quite confident that if a 200-pound guy giving me a punch like this, that I don't have any problem blocking his hand away with the tan, as well as hitting them at the same one continuous move. So I hope this is interesting. Wear a mask when you go out, and have a nice day. Thanks. Bye.